Hey, what's up? It's your girl Beltica, back at it again with another video. Today's video, as you can see by the title, we're going to talk about my experience at a PWI, what life is like, some of the challenges, and how I've overcame those challenges, and I am still a thriving student. I'll stop rambling and let's just go ahead and get right into the video. If y'all don't know, I attend Georgia Tech. It is a PWI. I am a chemical engineering major here at Georgia Tech. I came to Tech at 2018. 2018 was my freshman year. So I am a third year now. So almost there. Pray for me, please. Yeah, so just to give y'all a little bit of background, I grew up, I'm Haitian American. So I was born in Haiti, moved to the US, got my citizenship after I moved to the US and been here for like 10 years. So, and grew up in Haiti, obviously Black people. When I moved to Brooklyn, New York. If you know anything about Haitians and you know anything about Flatbush, you know anything about Brooklyn, you know that like Flatbush is like zonation, like it's mad Haitians there. So the school that I went to, like my friends, not all of them were Haitian, but like a lot of them were Caribbean. So we liked the same things, we listened to the same music. There wasn't really nothing, like I wasn't really exposed to any other kind of like ethnicities and stuff like that. So I was always in my comfort zone. Then we moved to Georgia, came to high school in Georgia, and I went to a predominantly Black high school. So I also did not have, there was other races at my school, but I never really felt any kind of like shade being thrown at me or anything along those lines. Like I've never like had to face that. So yeah, and in high school I was to myself too. I was working, I was doing a whole bunch of extra stuff. I was taking like college classes as well. So I didn't really have time to make friends and to get offended by what people did, so I didn't. But yeah, so then fast forward, boom, in college, and it was just a complete 180. Like my freshman year, I was obviously struggling because chemical engineering, the curriculum is not easy. So it was just very hard for me, and I wasn't involved that much in the Black community. And then in my classes, I used to be so confused on like why I was the only Black person in there, and there's like 50 plus students in here, and I was the only person that looked like myself. And that always was like kind of like bothersome to me. And then especially like in groups, oh my gosh, I hated working in groups. I hated labs. It was just terrible because like these like students would actually ignore me. Like if I said something, like it would be like crickets. It's like I did not talk. And I really did not like that. They didn't like want to study with me and stuff when I would try to create study groups and stuff. And I just began to just feel inferior to people. And I just was like, oh my gosh, like am I stupid? Am I dumb? Like do I belong here? Did I get in here only because I was Black and they needed to meet a quota? And I just had like all these thoughts that were very, very like overpowering in making like in limiting myself and my academical capabilities. So it was just like kind of like a domino effect, and I just was like failing basically a whole bunch of classes at that point. And so so fast forward to, you know, after like microaggressions being thrown at me, you know, working in labs, advisors telling me that, oh, I think you should switch your major, teachers telling me, oh gosh, I had this one teacher, I actually still have the email. I emailed him about a grade that I got because I was like a point off, like a 0.01 points off or something like that from getting an A in the class, and I felt like I put in A effort. So I had obviously like a student, you know, I emailed him to ask him like, can he give me that point? And he was just like, oh, what do you even want to be? No, he was like, oh, if you were more of a studious student or something like that, you could have easily gotten it. And what do you even want to be in life? Excuse me? So that was a whole situation. I've had teachers sent me to the dean for no reason of something that I did not do and stuff. So it's just like literally like my experience, it has been rough. I can make a whole nother video kind of giving like a story time of these things. I don't want to ramble too much. I want to go into just kind of like how I dealt with that, how I dealt with the emotions that I was facing, and how I overcame them, and basically how I would like some of the tips that I have for you if you're either in high school and a predominantly white high school, or if you are in a PWI, predominantly white institution or whatever, or if you're just in the work field or whatever, and you just are dealing with these like microaggressions, and you're dealing with these forms of oppression and stuff like that, and just to give you some advice on some of the things that you can do to overcome that. So I'm gonna be looking down because I wrote these down. So okay, so the first thing I did is I needed to like change my mindset. So you need to reboot like the way that you think. Affirm yourself is what I mean. I told myself daily that I belonged here. I told myself there was no affirmative action. That's not why I got in. I told myself that I was smart. I told myself that I could do it. And by the way, God is the gifter of knowledge, okay? I'm like in the book of Daniel's right now. Actually, let me pull up the verse. Daniel was asking God for like wisdom to interpret the dream for the king or whatever. And this verse that I read, I was like, wow, like I should have read this like freshman year, but ain't nobody tell me. Daniel chapter 2 verse 20 to 21, and it said, this is Daniel speaking, and he said, praise the name of God forever and ever, for he has all wisdom and power. He controls the course of the world's events. He removes kings and sets up other kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the scholars. So he gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the scholars. And that's what I am. I am a scholar. I'm in school. I'm a student. So I know where my knowledge comes from. It doesn't come from, you know, these people. Like, I'm not gonna let these teachers talk down on me and stuff like that. I know what the Bible says. I know my value through the word. I know that God is the gifter of knowledge. Clear my head of all negative thoughts so that I can then absorb the material. I can absorb the information and I can perform well. Which brings me to tip number 2, is to use your resources. I use your resources. I mean all resources. Like if a teacher doesn't want to help you, if a certain group of students don't want to study with you, okay, that's fine. Boom, that's great. Go somewhere else. Your school provides other forms of help. Go to the minority office to see, you know, if they provide help for it. Get in the group chats with upperclassmen and stuff like that. Ask them for help. See if there's a drive or something that has like extra resources. Definitely pray. Get into your Bible. Ask God for help. Network with like your community, with the Black community and stuff like that. Also, don't practice implicit bias. Like, don't be like unconsciously biased and just be prejudiced and just like not, you know, like prejudge people, but just because that they're white or not of your ethnicity or whatever. So be open to work with those who are willing to work with you, but don't be offended by those who aren't, you know what I mean? So you can choose what you are and what you're not going to respond to. Lastly is to be vocal. This is something that I had to do. Like, I was forced to do so many times. I had roommates that had the Confederate flag up, and this was a freshman dorm, so like I wake up in the morning, your bed is here, my bed is here. So it's not like, it's like we're sharing the same space and you just like, what? Like, that was just so disrespectful. So I had to tell her to take that down, and that was a whole nother situation. But yeah, like, just certain things, just don't take it. I've had to talk to teachers about certain ways that I was being treated in a group and stuff like that, and I had to ask them like, hey, can you change the rubric to where a part of the grade comes from like a survey where we say how they treated us within the group and stuff like that, you know, 5 to 8 points. And luckily I got a professor who understood and she did that. She changed her rubric, and you know, I started to get better treatment from the partners that I had in the group. In the lab, you know, just make sure you know what you're doing. If they're ignoring you, go ahead and vocalize it. Let them know, like, hey, I will not be ignored. Go to the dean if you have to. Like I said, it is very crucial that you have higher ups that you can go to when these situations form or whatever. So just be very aware, be very conscious of your surroundings and stuff like that, and just keep affirming yourself. It's okay. It's okay, like, you're not the only one. Definitely talk to others in your school who are going through this. I felt really comforted when I started opening up to the Black community and my Black friends and stuff like that about some of the stuff that I went through, and come to find out they went through some of the same exact things. So that was very comforting to get how, like, they went about it, what they do in the situation, how do they feel and stuff like that, and to have that open dialogue and that, like, safe space and stuff. That was kind of like all of my advice for you guys. And yeah, let me know if you want a video about, like, specific stories. Some, honestly, like, I don't feel comfortable telling until they run me my degree and it's in my hand. But some definitely, I could definitely tell you guys, like, what happened and how I went about solving it, especially roommate situations. But yeah, so that was it. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, you know, do all that. All right, period. And cheers to consistency. Bye.